Hello and welcome to module 2 of this course. In this module you will learn about loops. Loops are used when you want to repeat the same thing several times. We have two kinds of loops. For loops are used when you know how many times you want to repeat something. While loops are used when you want to repeat something until the condition is met. It can, for example, be to repeat something until a variable reach a certain value. You have been working with conditions in module 1. This module is divided into 2 lectures. The first lecture is about for loops and the second is about while loops. We recommend you to first watch part 1 and then do the training exercises related to for loops in the exercise. And then watch part 2 about while loops and continue to do the training exercises about while loops. The general form of a for loop is for iterator in range n, where iterator is a variable and n states how many times the loop will run. You can give the variable iterator any name. A common name is to call it I. Here is one example of a for loop where we repeat the loop 10 times. In this case, we only print the value of the variable I inside the loop, but you can perform many tasks inside the loop. Note that you need colon last in the for loop and that the block of code inside the loop must be indented. Compare with the if statement from module 1, where all blocks of code inside the if statement have to be indented. When you run the loop, the variable I will have the value 0 the first time. So in this case, the loop simply prints 0. So the variable I starts the value 0 and Python will print 0. The second time of the loop, the variable I will have the value 1 and the loop will simply print 1. The third time, the variable I will have the value 2 and the loop will print 2. This will continue until the for loop has been running 10 times. Note that since the first value is 0, the last value will be 9. The important thing to understand here is that we have the variable I. It is the same variable all the time, but it has a different value each time in the loop. So the first time the loop, the variable I will have the value 1. The second time, the variable I will have the value 1, and then it will continue until it reaches the value 9 that has been running 10 times. One example when a for loop can be useful is when you want to compute the cumulative sum. In this example, we will compute the cumulative sum of the range 1 to 4. Initially, the cumulative sum is 0. Then we take the first value of the range, which is 1. We add 1 in green to the old cumulative sum, which in this case is 0 in blue, which gives us the new cumulative sum 1 in purple. Then we add 2, again in green, to our old cumulative sum, which now is updated to 1 in blue, and get the new cumulative sum 3 in purple. In the next step, we add 3 to the old cumulative sum, which also is 3 in this case, which gives us the new cumulative sum of 6. Finally, we add 4 to our cumulative sum 6, and the final cumulative sum is 10 for the range 1 to 4. Note the order that the sums are written here. The new value of the cumulative sum is to the left in this column, and to the right of the equal sign, we have the old value of the cumulative sum and the value to add to the right. This is how it will look in a for loop. And this is how the for loop could look. In this case, we only have the range 1 to 3. Note that we must initiate the variable to keep track of the cumulative sum first before the loop can start. In this case, we call the variable sumVar and we initiate it with a value of 0. Then we have the for loop for I in range 1, 4. Remember from the first example where we had the loop for I in range 10 that the stop value is not included. Also remember that the loop started from 0 in the previous example. In this case, we want to start at 1, so we give the start value 1. Then inside the loop, we have the statement sumVar equals sumVar plus I. This is how we wrote it in the previous slide. The new value of the variable sumVar will be the old value of sumVar plus the value of I. So when we run the loop, sumVar will initially have the value 0. I will have the value 1. This gives sumVar the new value 1 after the first iteration of the loop. The second time in the loop, the old value of sumVar is 1. I has the value 2, which means the new value of sumVar will be 3. The third time in the loop, the old value of sumVar is 3, and the value of I is also 3. This means the new value of sumVar will be 6. Now I has reached the value 3, and the stop value is 4, which means the loop will stop running. And the final value of sumVar will be 6. If we add a print statement inside the loop, that Python will print the value of the variable I and the value of the variable sumVar each time inside the loop. So the first time it will print I is 1, sumVar is 1. The second time in the loop it will print I is 2, sumVar is 3. And the last time it will print I is 3, sumVar is 6. When you learn about for loops, it is good to add print statement like this to print the values in the variables. That can help you understand what is happening in the loop, and it will make it easier to find mistakes in the code. Finally, a short summary about what is important to understand about for loops. You have an iterator variable, in this case the variable I. The variable is the same, but the value of the variable will change with each iteration of the loop. In this case, I will have the value 0 the first time in the loop. The second time in the loop, I will have the value 1, etc. And the last time, the variable I will have the value 9. Now, we suggest you to have a look at the training exercises about for loops in the exercise, and then watch the second lecture about while loops. Bye for now.